Hello, everyone. So, I feel really weird talking to a camera. Not something that I really do, but um, my name's Tasha. I should probably start by saying that. And I was not going to do anything of this sort, um, do any sort of a vlog or anything. That's just not me. I'm on social media, kind of goofy on there. And but don't talk a lot about my personal life on social media or anywhere really. I just kind of keep my life to myself. But my babe encouraged me to share my journey, though I don't necessarily find it to be overly different or interesting. He felt like maybe it could be helpful to someone else. So here I am. And the purpose of me having this conversation probably will be clear from the description, but we are in the process of doing our very first IVF cycle, and hopefully it'll be the only one we have to do, but being realistic about it. So I'll say that, hopefully we get a win the first time, but we are in the process of starting our first IVF cycle. So maybe it'd be helpful if I tell you a little bit about us. So why are we doing this? I have two children and he has two children. So I feel like though this is a tough process for us, and I think for anybody who is going through IVF, it's hard, but we've been blessed to have children naturally before. And so I almost feel some type of way about feeling bad for our experience when there's so many people who are going through this process and have never had their own children naturally. And so I feel like it's like even harder for those parents, but I don't like to compare journeys either, but that's just how I feel. I feel sometimes like I shouldn't even be feeling bad about having to go through this process when there's so many people who don't have children, and I do. So I have two wonderful boys, and never thought that I was going to have any more kids. And then I met my boyfriend, and I fell in love with him, and it's been over a year now. We had a miscarriage of a baby we weren't trying for. So we had one of those situations where I found out that I was pregnant when I miscarried the baby. And something about that experience, I think that I was surprised of his reaction. I could tell he is an emotional person, but you don't see it necessarily. He kind of guards his emotions a lot of times and in certain ways. And so something told me that he was bothered by the miscarriage in a way that I wasn't expecting. And ever since then, it's like the baby bug bit. And he kept saying something to me about, us trying, and I kind of thought he was kidding. But after a while, I could tell that there was something real about this. And to make a long story shorter, we had a conversation about it. And, during the time of him having this bug and keep saying something to me about it, I discovered that I had it too. And I had this desire to have a child with him. If it was anybody else, I don't think I would have that. But with him, I had this desire to share that experience with him. And so we started trying and really trying. And I had the ovulation kits, and I know when I'm ovulating anyway, I can feel it because I have ovulation cramps. And it didn't matter what we were doing, it just wasn't working. So I said to him, I think it might help if we go and see a fertility specialist. And so we did that last year in October of 2019, and started talking through the process. And of course, the doctor reminded me that Though I don't necessarily look older, I am. I just turned 41, and he's much younger than me. I'm not a cougar. I call myself the panther. But he's 32, and his youngest daughter is 3. My youngest son is 10, and but she said, because you have this miscarriage, we know it's possible for you to get pregnant, but let's go through some tests. Let's see what we're looking at, and then let's talk. So I did a lot of tests, baseline, sonograms, and all that great stuff. And what we were able to discover through all this is that we did a HSG test and discovered that my fallopian tubes on the left side are blocked. Fallopian tubes on the right, fine. The dye went right through that little side, but on the other side it got hung up. And even when she was doing it, she was trying to force the dye through just to make sure, and nothing was happening there. We also did testing of my AMH levels and discovered that those levels were low. Even for my age, they were lower. And this was when I was 40. This was last year. They were low. And so I'm coming to the end of my egg basket, is the way I like to word it. So she's like, if we're going to do this, we need to just do it now. So we talked and we decided we would try an IUI, even though my fallopian tubes on the left were blocked. She's like, let's give the IUI a try, because I was already growing follicles at that time without trying. I already had follicles that were over 10 centimeters, and they were all on the right hand side. So we did IUI with Avidril and Lexatrol to stimulate my follicles, and I had a follicle that was 13 and some change, a 17, and then I had this healthy, huge one at 23. So we went ahead and did the IUI, did the trigger, and long story short, that wasn't successful. It actually resulted in a chemical pregnancy, and so it's not that it didn't work, it just didn't take. So we decided this time around we're going to do IVF. We might as well just go ahead because we have too many other things that are up against us. Of course, during the IUI process, we had his semen analysis completed. He's great. I know a lot of women are like, probably have the same feeling that I felt. It's like, okay. So, of course, all the problems will be on my side. But very positive about it, though. Other than the things I described, I'm actually extremely healthy. Cholesterol is great. Every test that you take about your body for your annual physicals, I always score optimal. So I'm really, don't get sick very often. So she's like, you're fine. You're just getting old. She's like, you're not getting old, but your body is, and this is the way that it is. It's nature. So we don't want to play around with the clock, and let's just do this thing. So we did. So I did a hysteroscopy in the process of that. Find out I have a polyp that is growing, or was growing. And so literally a couple days ago, I had it removed. And so I had the surgery to have it removed. I had the nice anesthesia cocktail and had my IV. I think you could probably still see. Maybe you can't, but I still have my little IV scar. And I've been in the bed for the last 2 days because it just made me so tired. And I think I actually needed it. My job and his job, we have 2 very busy careers. He's a car salesman, and I work in financial services and lead a very busy advisor group. And it's just a busy type of career. And so juggling all the different facets of my life, I probably needed the nap. So super tired. We ordered our meds and they got lost. And not all of them, but half of them got lost. And so I'm glad we ordered them ahead of time because I'm actually starting my stems on Wednesday. I'm going to insert a video when I was actually just found out that I had to have, well, I had my initial why had that word so hard, hysteroscopy in the office when they found the polyp. And then I had a hysteroscopy with the polyectomy a couple days ago. And so there's another video. My cousin went with me to do the initial hysteroscopy, and I'll add that later. But I initially said on that video that it was Tuesday, but I actually start my stems on Wednesday. So what am I doing now? I'm actually sitting here drinking some pomegranate juice because I actually like it. And I just got some of my supplements together for the evening. What are these? CoQ10, DHEA fish oil, turmeric. I take this all the time. Iron, biotin, vitamin D. Some of these don't have anything to do with my fertility stuff, but I take a lot of vitamins all the time just because they make me feel better. And my babe, I have his cocktail over there of all the supplements that I'm making him take too. So behind me, this is my my medicine wall, I call it. So you can probably see from what I'm showing you here, this is my protocol. So I'm using Menopur and Gonal F. And these are, I know Gonal F can be put in the fridge, but when they sent it to me, when it got lost, when they finally found it, it was in a cooler, and when it got lost, the Gonal F was still nice and cool, but it wasn't the proper temperature to go back in the refrigerator. So they told me just to leave it out, and it'll be gone before the time frame in which it would expire or not be good anymore. So it's fine that it's out. So I have my Menopur, my Gonal F, and then I have my Centricide and my Alvadrel shot. They're downstairs in the refrigerator. And then I also have all of my supplements are stuck in there too. And this is my Buzzy down here. This will be to help me with my injections. And I have my baby aspirin. I don't need these right now, but my doctor said that I might likely need them later. So I just leave them down there. And then I have all of my syringes and my needles are in here. And then the God forbidden, at least for me, birth control. I am so glad I am done with these. I took my last one yesterday, and I am so grateful that that is done. I don't know about you guys, but the birth control made me so hormonal that, oh my God. I don't know. I am not a crier. I'm just not an overly emotional person. I don't know. I think it's part of just my makeup. And then with the career that I have, I can't afford to be overly emotional. I work with a bunch of men, and it serves me well to be a hard ass sometimes. And so I'm just not that emotional naturally. And I've just been a mess, just a mess. I feel like I start fights with my babe, and he's not, he might get a chance to meet him. He might come on. He's not the most sensitive person to like your needs. He's hardly ever here. I'm usually by myself. He's always at work, and he's a go-getter to the 20th degree. He has 800 hustles, and let's just say he's not very comforting type of person. And I've just been such a mess where I need him almost to be something that he usually doesn't have to be to me. And so it's quite an adjustment for the both of us. And so this has been really hard. I almost gave up before we really even got started because I was just like, I'm just over it. And it's just the birth control. I literally, like I said, I have not taken it. This is my first day off that I don't have to take it, and I feel better already. Like, I feel more normal. Yeah, the birth control is hard. So I'm just glad that I'm done with that. So what's next? I have my calendar. I don't know if you guys are interested in seeing it, but hold on, just in case you are. I have my calendar. I have my IVF journal. I'm one of those people. I'm a planner by nature. I can't help it. Hold on, let me see. This is my calendar. You see on here, it actually has one of my receipts attached to it. Oh my God. Yeah, that's just giving you guys an idea of the cost of IVF. It's expensive. And that's just one of the many, many payments that we've had to make. So let me see what I can show you on here real quick on my calendar. So if you look here, you can see. So I have my last pill, you see, birth control pill, last pill tonight, the asterisk behind it. There's my Menopure and my Gono F on there. On Friday at 8:15, I'm gonna have my estrogen lab draw, and then I'm gonna have a sonogram and estrogen progesterone levels tested, and I'll do that every other day. Potentially every day after the 6th. Just kind of depends on how things were going. She'll call me, let me know. And then I might have to start the cetricide on the 2nd, just depending on how things are going. And then my estimated week of retrieval is around the 8th of February. Everyone who's been through this journey, if you're new to this, these calendars can change. My initial calendar, like when we first started this, we were just planning on obviously doing the IVF, and then I found out that I needed to do carrier testing because of some family history of like muscular dystrophy and things like that. So we have done the testing for that. We're waiting for those results to come back. And then we also found the polyp, right? So then the extra hysteroscopy surgery, we had that. Luckily for us, she was able to do everything and our schedule not change. So it hasn't changed yet since we created it about a month ago. But I'm being flexible. Like I usually travel a lot for work, and I've luckily I'm able to make my own schedule for the most part. So I've made it where I'm going to actually be around, even though usually I'm always gone. It's like somewhere, vacation or work. And I have zero plans to go anywhere all of 2020. So we'll see. It's also not something that I've broadcasted, so most people don't even know we're doing this, with the exclusion of my sister and my cousin. And that's it for right now. My mommy was with me when I had my surgery the other day, but she doesn't know the extent to which we're going with this process, but I'm going to share it with her soon. I'm kind of a secretive person, just naturally, just like that. But so I'll share more. I can't share everything with you guys and not tell my mom, right? I kind of just want her to be surprised by it, and she's not going to look at YouTube. So but that's it for tonight. I'm going to try to get used to this and figure out a process or something to do this, and maybe, somebody can learn something from this journey we're going through, learn something, and maybe I'll get used to the camera. We'll see. Good night.